Hey guys, I am Ferry Corsten and I'm hanging out with you guys, electronicmidwest.com. Well, Ferry Corsten, that's my name. I'm from Holland. Been in the industry for about 20 years now. Been DJing worldwide for 11, 12 years. I started out as a producer of electronic music. At around 99, 2000, I had like a whole string of big successes mainly in Europe, in the UK, top 40 stuff, but the top 40 stuff with underground music. It's stuff that just crossed over. That music, you know, it's usually known as trance. It's very melodic. There's a lot of emotion in it, energy in it. Over the years, I had a couple of other successes also here in the US, and my sound has changed from that big time up-tempo melodic stuff to the more housey stuff, but still with a lot of energy, still with a lot of melody in it. I basically started going out clubbing myself, and I met a couple of guys who had a little studio, and I was always interested in how this music that I was hearing in the clubs, how that was made, and we just sat down and started experimenting. Basically, really, that's how it started. You know, we had no clue, and it was all self-taught. It was, you know, when I started producing, there were no such things as plugins and software and whatever. You know, it was I was producing off an Atari, you know, with a program called Cubase. It's still around now, and I still use that. It's lovely. And but at the time, you know, it was synthesizers, drum computers, samplers, you know, big mixing consoles. So it's not like, oh, I buy one piece of software and I have a whole studio like now. You know. It was really saving of your money, investing it into a new synthesizer or a new drum computer or a new sampler or a new FX unit. You know, everything was hardware. A room like this where we're in right now would easily be too small almost to have your studio in. So yeah, it was tough in that sense. Music wasn't really understood yet, you know. It was a very sort of like a small niche market. Record labels were just catering to a small crowd. So a lot of it came out of like a hobby point of view. Yeah. At that point, it was, you know, there was the record stores. A lot of the guys who were working at the record stores, they were working as an A&R guy at one of the smaller record labels, the dance labels. So I would go with my demos, with my tracks on DAT, that, you know. I would go there, say like, hey, listen to it and let me know what you think. And yeah, okay, we want to sign this. So hey, another record out. And you know, eventually the record would be released by that small label. It would go across the channel into England, and another record label would hear about it, pick it up, sign it for that territory, you know, and so on. And it was a very different time then. Right now, you put your music up on SoundCloud or Facebook or like you name it, you know, and you reach the world. And then it was just, you know, you really had to stand out. Yeah. Well, at some point I produced a record called Out of the Blue under an alias, System F. That record just blew up in England. That record was sort of like the defining moment for trance at the time. You know, it brought, trance was already around as a genre, but it brought it from like an underground sort of thing to the surface. And ever since then, I got requested by Ministry of Sound, for example, in the UK, who put out a lot of compilations to sort of like spearhead a compilation series, you know, called Trance Nation. And the first one sold 400,000 copies, and all of a sudden that was in 400,000 households. So, and then the next one came out, it hit the top 40, and you know, and then one after and one after. So and that whole series did just miracles for me. All of a sudden the clubs started calling, and you know, out of nowhere, within a time span of about 4 or 5 months, I was just playing from being a homie kid in Holland in a studio. I was all over the UK, I was in Australia, I was in Japan, I was in Canada, you know, within like that. So it went really quick, and I knew that it wasn't really a hobby anymore, you know, it was becoming yeah, a good career. And you know, I was not too long before that, about a year before that, I finished my school, and I said, you know what, I'm just going to give myself a year. If I will reach a certain level of success within that year, I will continue. If not, I'll find a job and keep it as a hobby. And it was just a few months after that, and bang. When I started, in a way, I mean, I was already in a more grown-up scene than the guys of the previous generation. But for me, it still felt like the Wild West, you know, like a little mining town. And right now I'm in a big, really big, hip, flashy city. That's how you should compare it. It was, yeah, the big. Within 10 years, that's happened to this kind of music. Yeah.